everyone! I recently showed you how to make these double and triple pocket cards, and today I want to show you a completely different card that I came up with while experimenting with that fold. So let's head on over to my craft table and let me show you. This is the fold I came up with, and I call it a Double Pocket Diamond Easel card, and I guess you can tell why I call it that, but this is what the card looks like. Has little pockets for, little tags. I have not written anything on my tags yet. And then it sits up and it's an easel card. And you can also see that these two sit differently. And that all depends on where you put this fold here in the back. But I'm going to explain all of that to you. So let's get started with the basics. I'm going to be showing you one fold, but there'll be two variations. As you can see, the spacing here is a little bit different than the spacing here. And I'm going to show you both. To start with, you're going to need a piece of paper or cardstock that is 8.5 by 8.5 inches square. And what you're going to do is, if you have a scoreboard, you're going to score it at 4.25 inches, and you're going to turn it and score it at 4.25 inches, and then fold it. But if you don't, I'm just going to show you that you're going to fold it in half one way, you're going to open it up, and you're going to fold it in half the other way. Okay, and once you've done that, have it laying in front of you. I usually have it laying on the side where all the folds are kind of facing upwards. And you're going to go to the bottom right-hand corner, which is the corner closest to you. And you're going to measure over and mark 2 inches and 2 inches on each side. So let me show you. 2 inches and 2 inches. And once you've marked those, which I already have, so I'll lift it up so you can see. Okay, we're going to fold right across there. And for me, the easiest way is to line my ruler up with those marks and then fold the corner up and press on it to crease it really good and then fold it. So there's our first fold. Now, you're going to flip the paper like this. Okay, and so that way your first fold is now on the top right corner, facing down. And you're going to take the bottom right corner, and now you're going to fold it in. You could fold up the side to help as a guide if you need to, but don't let it cross the fold line on either side, or it will make it really difficult for the rest of the folding. So keep it just inside the fold line on each side. So now you have that fold and you have this fold. You're going to take your card, you're going to fold it right there on that score line that you already had folded in half. And then you're going to fold it on the other one, and it's going to look just like this. And we're going to be tipping it to be just like that. Okay, so that was easy, right? Okay, one more time, only now I'm going to show you the other corner. In case you prefer that look, then I'll show you this one. So, let me open this back up again. And you're going to go through the same folding process that you did. So you're going to fold it in half that way, open it up, fold it in half that way. Or if you have a scoreboard, score it at 4.25 each direction. Okay, so now we're back to where we were with this bottom corner. But this time it will be 2 3/4 inches. And you'll mark 2 3/4 inches And again, line up those marks, fold your corner. So you have the bottom right-hand corner folded. You're going to flip it just like before, and everything else is exactly the same. You're going to fold in that corner. You're going to fold it in half that way. You're going to fold it in half that way, and this is what you end up with. So I've now shown you the basics for those two pieces. So 2 3/4 or 2 inches. That's the only difference between the two folds. The next step is to cut out the layers for the front and for each pocket. And to do that, you decide what paper or cardstock you want to use, and you cut out 2 squares that are each 4 inches by 4 inches. With one of those squares, you're just going to cut it in half, just like that. And that's going to be for the front and for the back pocket. Now let's get to the middle pocket. For the middle pocket, if you had folded that at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, then you're going to have to mark your paper the same way, 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. And I've actually already done that right here. So I'll show you again though. So you measure 2 3/4, put a little mark. Go to the other side, 2 3/4, put a little mark. And then we're going to draw a line from one mark to the other, just like that. And let me grab my cutter, and I'm going to cut right across that line and cut this piece off. Okay, I have it all lined up. I've cut that piece off, and now you have a piece that looks like this, kind of like a Superman symbol. If you made the card with the 2-inch corner, then you do the same thing. Now I've already cut this out, but I measured down 2 inches on each side and cut across, just like we did the other one, only instead of 2 3/4, you only measured down 2 inches on each side. And the front and the back pocket were done the same way that we did the other one. So you take the 4-inch by 4-inch and you cut it in half. And this was also 4-inch by 4-inch. So the only difference is how far down you cut it, because it all depends on how far you folded this corner. The next step is to get the edges adhered together so that things aren't just, flopping around. So instead of showing you on this, I'm going to show you on this, because this is a card that I'm working on right now. So get yourself some 1/4 inch double-sided tape and let's get started. step is making the base of the card. So you are going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that are cut 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. One of them you're just going to set aside, and the other one, whether you use a scoreboard to score it from one corner to the other, or whether you just fold it in half, putting the corners together and folding it into a triangle, whatever way works for you, that's what you need to do. Next, you need to decide how you want your card to stand. Now, do you want it to stand more upright at that angle, or do you want it to lean a little further back like this angle? So you need to decide that, and that's going to decide the next move. So I've decided that I want the card I'm making to stand up a little bit taller, like this card. So what I'm going to do is grab my ruler here, and I'm going to measure 1 1/4 inches and put a mark. It doesn't matter whether you pick that corner or that corner, just one of these corners, and do the same thing on the opposite side of that, 1 1/4 inches. So now we have one corner marked off. I'm going to put my ruler across those marks, just like we've done for the rest of the card. And on here, lift up the corner to crease it and fold that corner in. Just like that. So you have, this one is a mountain fold and this one is a valley fold. Now, if you like the way that this card is, then you would actually not even bother measuring. You would just, I'm not going to do it with this, but you would bring this corner up and touch it to that fold, and that's where you would make your crease. So I don't want to do it, but get the idea, up to there, and then make your other crease. Now you're going to take that other 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch square, and you are going to attach this corner to one of these corners. Just like that. Doesn't matter which corner. You're just going to even them right up, and you're going to glue them together. So try to do this for you really quick here. You might want to use double-sided tape. And I am using not my glue, my daughter's glue, and that's a mess. Yuck. Okay, let me grab my glue. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue right on here. If you're all wondering what I'm using, same as always, my Beacon 3-in-1. All right, pick a corner and attach it. At this point, you can lay both pieces out flat so that you know that all 4 corners are evened up. All sides are even. And then we're just going to let that glue dry, which actually should only take a second here. Okay, so that's ready to go, and we now have our base. The next step is to attach your card to the base. And the way to do that is, here's your triangle where it's attached, and this is going to be where your card attaches, to this triangle, not to the whole top of the card here, not to the whole top of the base, but just to this triangle only. So with your card facing up, so that the pockets are opening up, you are going to glue that right on that triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and this way I know it's in the right place, so I'm only going to put it on the triangle. Nowhere else on the card, just the triangle. Okay, And then I'm going to lay my card flat. I'm going to lay this on there. You're going to make sure everything is lined up, all the edges, so that when you lay your card flat, and that's why I'm laying it flat to do this, because you want to make sure that all of your edges are lined up. You're not, all, wanky, wonky, whatever. You're not all crooked and out there. You want to make sure that it was attached nicely to the base. Okay, so now that we've done that, this is how your card's going to open. See if I can adjust my camera a little bit better there. Okay, that's how your card's going to open. And now we need to work on this part of the base. Now for the layer that's going to go in the bottom, you're going to need another square piece of cardstock or paper, and it needs to be 4 inches by 4 inches. And then what you're going to do is, in this case, that little back corner that we did was 1 1/4 inches, the part that got attached back here. So on here, you're going to need to do the same thing. You're going to need to mark 1 1/4 inches and 1 1/4 inches. And then you're going to draw a line across. And you're going to cut that off, whether it's with a pair of scissors or your trimmer. And I didn't bring my scissors with me, so give me 1 second. Okay, with that cut, the next step is to glue this to the inside. And I am not going to glue mine in there right now because I haven't yet decided what sentiment I'm going to put on there, and I like to stamp it ahead of time. In case I make a mistake, I can cut out another one and put it in there. So I am not going to do that, but you get the idea. You just leave a nice little border around the edge. And then we're going to have to put something there as a stopper so that the card will stand up like that. Okay, here are a few samples of what you can use on the inside. So, let me get this one opened up here. This one, I put a ribbon across, and as you can see, I put it from corner to corner. And then I put the bow in the middle. I actually added a little gem on this one too, since there's little rhinestones and these flowers. So you can do that. Or in this one, I just added a bow and no ribbon going across. In this one, I used a little flower. Whatever you use, it has to be something raised. You can even have a little label with your sentiment on it and foam tape underneath it and use that for a stopper. But you will need something to be a stopper so that your card will stay open because it's an easel card. So that is that. Now, when it comes to what goes in the pockets, that's up to you. You can make little tags to go in the pockets and, put sentiments or images on them. You could put gift cards in the pockets. In this one here, I have a little doily in the pocket, and up here, I have a little tag that says, "You've got me," and then when it opens up, and I've got chocolate. So there's all kinds of choices that you have. Also, to decorate the outside, you could put little sparkly things like this. You can put an image on the front. You can just put ribbons and bows and flowers. It's totally up to you how you decorate the outside of the card. Now, if you're wondering about the little trim around the outside that's not on this one, Let me explain that to you. So I wanted to use my Martha Stewart punch around the page punch set, and it has to be certain sizes, and 5 inches happens to be one of the numbers, one of the inches that this will work with. So I made a 5-inch square and I punched around the corner, and I did that on 2 pieces, one to be the bottom of the base and one to attach the card to. So this part, the card, was attached to that, and then everything went together just exactly the same. So if you want to add something like that, that's always fun to do too. Thank you all for watching today, and I hope you give that card a try. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.